We've been discussing exponential functions, and I want you to think about these problems for a few minutes and see how many of them you can answer. So we have 3 to the x equals 9. So what could x equal? 2 to the x equals 32. 4 to the x equals 1/16. Can you figure that one out? 2 to the x equals 10. 3 to the x equals 5. And 5 to the x equals 1/20. Okay, so these are all varying degrees of difficulty, but I want you to try to do them in your head. And if you need a calculator, just to check your answers or to think about it, that's fine. Okay, so hopefully you could figure out in the first problem that x should be 2, right? You should be doing that in your head. 3 squared equals 9, so x is equal to 2. Okay, see if you can figure out that second one. 2 to what power is equal to 32? Okay, did you get 5? Okay, 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16, times 2 is 32. So 2 to the 5th power is 32. Okay, you do know a rule of exponents that could help you solve 4 to the x equals 1/16. Hopefully, you recognize that x should be -2. Right? If it was 4 squared, the answer would be 16. We need to flip that fraction, so we need a negative exponent, right? Okay, so I hope you were successful on those 3 problems. Now think about 2 to the x is equal to 10. And go ahead, if you have a calculator, and try to figure out what x equals. It's a little trickier, right? Because 2 times 2 times 2, 2 cubed is 8, but then 2 to the 4th is 16. So it can't be 3 and it can't be 4, right? But you should realize it's probably a little closer to 3 than it is 4, right? Because 2 to the 3rd is 8, which is closer to 10 than 16 is. So x, right, is somewhere a little bit greater than 3, right? But do you know, is it 3.2, 3.1, 3.3? Right? We're not quite sure. If you use a calculator, you could try a few decimals, but I doubt you'll get exactly 10, right? So you could, try it a little bit more and see, like try to use your calculator, use the exponent form, so 2 and then raise it to the third 3.1 power or the 3.2 power, right? But you can't get exactly the answer just by guessing, I don't think. All right, so what about 3 raised to what power is 5? That again is not a whole number power, is it? Right? So think about what numbers it's between. Okay, between. So x is between, and it should be 1 and 2, right? Because 3 to the first is 3, 3 squared is 9. Kind of seems right in between there. Okay, somewhere between 1 and 2 though. Okay, now how about 5 raised to a power being 1/20th? So if it was 1/25th, I think you should be able to get the exact answer, but it's not, it's 1/20th, right? So this should be somewhere between 1 and 2 again, right? Because 5 to the first is 5 and 5 squared is 25. And it's closer to 2 probably, but really since it's flipped over, right, the 1/20th should be between -1 and -2. Okay, but you can see there's kind of an issue, a need to be able to solve for that x more accurately and more efficiently and quickly. And in other words, we need to learn what is the inverse of exponents. Okay, so what is the inverse of an exponent? So if the x is up in the exponent, we have to have a way to solve for that x, okay? And that is called a logarithm. And you may have heard of them before, logs, logarithm, but I don't know how much you understood of them. So we're going to go kind of from the beginning and see how they work and how they will let you solve for those x's really quite easily.